Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Nitesh Tiwari Technical Hub. Today we are talking about the artificial sun. So it's look like very interesting topic. So first of all, what is artificial sun? Actually, uh, recently a news is coming that China will develop a nuclear reactor. The name is Experimental Advanced Superconducting Tokamak, and the short form we can call it the EAST. This reactor is called the artificial sun actually. So why it is called artificial sun? There are two main reasons so that we call the artificial sun. The first one is that same as the sun, the reactor will generate the temperature very much high. And nowadays, even these nuclear reactor called east will generate the temperature is approximately 10 times higher than sun. So due to the high temperature generation, it is called the artificial sun. And the second reason is that in the sun, actually nuclear fusion reaction is done to generate the energy, and same process is done by yeast, and they will use the nuclear fusion reaction to generate the energy, so that we call these are artificial sun. So first of all, we have to know about the sun. Though so the sun in our galaxy produce the energy through a nuclear fusion reaction, not nuclear fission. This is the nuclear fusion reaction. So what happened in nuclear fusion reaction? That inside the sun, the hydrogen atoms just collides with each other and fuse at extremely high temperature, which is approximately 15 million degrees centigrade, under the enormous gravitational pressure. What it means? It means in every second, approximately 60 million ton of the hydrogen are fused to create the helium. So during this process, the part of mass of hydrogen atom becomes the energy. So it means in the our sun, not in our sun, even in every star, the nuclear fusion reaction is done, in which two atoms of hydrogen collapse and make a helium atom, and the large amount of energy is generated. So there is a question that why nuclear fusion reaction is done in the sun or any star? Why not the nuclear fusion reaction? And why in our Earth all the reactor which is established till now is working with nuclear fusion method? Not they are working on nuclear fusion reaction. The main reason is that for nuclear fusion reaction, you have to maintain very high temperature. So in the case of sun or in the case of star, the temperature is too much high, and this temperature is maintained continuously. So if the temperature value is too much high, so that nuclear fusion reaction is possible and the nuclear fusion reaction is done. If you are reading your board books or any books, so people are saying that you have in the nuclear fusion reaction, two hydrogens will collapse and make the helium. Of course, this thing is correct, but not fully correct. It is. Why? Because let us think that in the sun or in the star, suppose two hydrogen atoms are collapsed and make heliums and the energy. But after some time, whenever the hydrogen will going to be empty, or the hydrogen is not available in the sun or the star, so what happened? So if hydrogen is not happen, then is it the star will going to be dead or sun will going to be dead? No, of course not. Once the hydrogen atom will empty or hydrogen is not available in the sun or the star, then the two helium atom will going to be collapse and make another atom, and the energy will going to be produced. So the question is that what is the difference between the nuclear fusion reaction of hydrogen and helium? So if the nuclear fusion reaction you want to do between the hydrogen, then you need less temperature on compared to the nuclear fusion reaction done in the helium. If you read the books of astrophysics, then they will said that before making the black hole, even after the hydrogen helium, when helium is going to be empty, then lithium, then barium, then boron, and it is up to the iron, the nuclear fusion is done, and after that star will convert it in the black hole. So okay, of course, the very basic thing is that you have to collapse two hydrogen to make a nuclear fusion reaction, but it not means only hydrogen is used to make a nuclear fusion reaction. Only you have to know that in nuclear fusion reaction, two atoms are collapsed, where in nuclear fission reaction, two atoms are divided. And in both the process, energy will going to be generated. So this is the question that why we go through the nuclear fusion reaction if the nuclear fusion reaction is also used to generate the energy. So there are some advantage of nuclear fusion reaction over the nuclear fusion reaction, which will be discussed in the further slides. Currently, all the nuclear power is obtained in the form of fission. A process contrary to fusion, energy is produced by divide the nucleus of a heavy atom into two or more nuclei of lighter atom. So fission is easier to achieve, but it generates the waste. Why it is easier to achieve? As we discussed earlier, that in the fusion, we need high temperature for collapse, for doing the collapse of the small atoms. But in the fission, comparatively less temperature is required. So if you are talking about the fusion, so fusion is a nuclear technology that can produce very high level of energy without generating large quantity of nuclear waste, and scientists have been trying to perfect it for decades. So it means what it means? It means the nuclear fusion reaction will generate more energy on compared to nuclear fusion reaction, and the waste generated by nuclear fusion reaction is very less on compared to the nuclear fusion reaction. So that we are too much focused to make a nuclear reactor which is based on nuclear fusion reaction instead of nuclear fission reaction. The full form of IST is Experimental Advanced Superconducting Tokamak, which is also called the artificial sun. So China Experimental Advanced Superconducting Tokamak, which is mimic the energy generation process of the sun, set a new record. After it ran at 216 million degree Fahrenheit, which is approximately equivalent to 120 million degrees Celsius for 101 seconds. So this data is come from the state media of the China. And one more achievement is that for another 20 seconds, the artificial sun also achieved a peak temperature of 288 million degree Fahrenheit, which is approximately 160 million degrees Celsius, which is more than 10 times hotter than the sun. So the latest fish by Chinese scientists is a significant step in the country, which is quoted to unlock clean and limited energy with minimal waste product. So the breakthrough, a significant process, and the ultimate goal should be keeping the temperature at a stable level for a long time. But the expert of China says that still long way to go for China experimental artificial sun, and we have to do too much work in that. Why? Because of course we are generating the temperature higher than the sun, even 10 times higher than sun, but it is not for too long time. It is only for 20 seconds. Or if you are talking about the temperature 120 milli degrees Celsius, then it is for 101 or approximately 101 degrees centigrade. So the time is less. Of course, this time is less. If we increase the time, if we increase the time limit, then this energy we can use for to make electricity, and it will fulfill all the demand of energy power of the countries. So China project of artificial sun, if you are talking, then the East is not only project of China, which is work on the base of nuclear fusion reactors. And three more project is there. The East HL-2M we call HL-2A reactor and J-text. These three projects is also working in China. So the experimental advanced superconducting tokamak case reactor is an advanced nuclear fusion experimental research device located at the Institute of Plasma Physics of the Chinese Academy of Science. The purpose of the artificial sun is to replicate the process of nuclear fusion, which is the same reaction that power the sun. The IST is one of three major domestic tokamak that are presently being operated across the country. Apart from the East, China is currently operating the HL-2A reactor as well as the J-text reactor. In December 2020, HL-2M tokamak, China launches the most advanced nuclear fusion experimental research devices. And this was successfully powered up to the first time. And this is, of course, this is a very key milestone in the growth of the China nuclear power reaction capability. Since it is the first become operational in 2006, so the East has set a several record for the duration of confinement of extremely hot plasma. The East project is part of the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor, that is ITER facility, which will become the world's largest nuclear fusion reactor when it becomes the operational in 2035. The project includes the contribution of several countries, including the India, South Korea, Japan, Russia, and United States. So next thing is that how the artificial sun or east will going to be work. So the east tokamak device is designed to replicate the nuclear fusion process carried out by the sun and star. So nuclear fusion is a process through which high level of energy are produced without generating large quantity of waste. Previously, energy was produced through nuclear fission, a process in which the nucleus of a heavy atom was split into two or more nuclei of lighter atoms, while fission is an easier process to carry out. So it is generate for more nuclear waste. Unlike fission, fusion also does not emit greenhouse, and they consider a safer process with lower risk of accident. Once you master the nuclear fusion code, potentially provide the unlimited clean energy and very low cost. So for nuclear fusion to occur, tremendous heat and pressure are applied on hydrogen atom so that they fuse together. This same process, as you see that the same process occurs in sun and star. So the nuclei of deuterium and tritium, both found in hydrogen, are made to fuse together to create a helium nucleus, a neutron along with a whole lot of energy. Fuel is heated to temperature of over 150 million degrees Celsius so that it forms a hot plasma show to subatomic particles. With the help of a strong magnetic field, the plasma is kept away from the walls to the reactor to ensure it does not cool down and lose its potential to generate large amount of energy. The plasma is conflict for a long duration of fusion take place. Why? Because if the plasma is going to the wall of the nuclear reactor, then the temperature is obviously going to be down. And if the temperature is going to be down, then nuclear fusion reaction was going to be end. So the main target is that to keep the plasma away from the wall of nuclear reactor, and so the nuclear fusion process will happen continuously. So next is that what is the latest record and why it is too much important. So the East reactor set a new record when it achieved a plasma temperature of 216 million degree Fahrenheit and also managed to run for 20 seconds at 288 million degree Fahrenheit. To put this perspective, the sun core only reaches about 15 million degrees Celsius, which means the reactor was able to touch temperature that are 10 times hotter than that of the sun. The next goal for the scientists behind the experimental reactor is to maintain the high temperature for a long period of time. Previously, the East had reached a record temperature of 100 million degrees Celsius in 2018. So this is a step in the right direction so far as China Greece development is concerned in that. And China will say that it is time or it is more like a future technology that's the critical for China green development push. Obviously, because if this experiment is done nicely or we maintain the temperature for long duration of time, then all the need of power and energy will supply very smoothly. So, so that the China is not only, I mean, if you are talking about is it only China which will work on this in this project, this kind of project? No, no. Well, not only China is achieved this plasma temperature. In 2020, South Korea named K-Star reactor set a new record of maintaining plasma temperature over 100 billion degrees Celsius for 20 seconds. But of course, the East is break all the record and it will set up the temperature 288 billion degree Fahrenheit, and of course it is 10 times hotter than the core of the sun. So how China will or how China is going to make such kind of projects? So China is also the part of ITER, that is International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor Projects. So ITER is being built South France. It is a collaboration of 35 countries integrated into the 7 main members, in which the China, European Union, India, Japan, South Korea, Russia, and United States. ITER goal is to determine the technological and economic visibility of nuclear fusion by magnetic confinement as a long-scale energy source without CO2 emission, although it still does not produce electricity. Why it is not going to produce electricity? Because of course the temperature is not maintained in very long time. But once we maintain the temperature very long time and nuclear fusion reaction is done for very long time, then this energy we can use to generate the electricity. So East will be the first fusion site capable of producing the next energy and maintain the fusion process over a long period of time, as well as test the necessary material and technology. This is a previous stage to construction of the commercial demonstration site, which is expected to begin operated by 2025. So thank you for watching this channel. If you have any doubt, then you can comment. Thank you everyone. Thank you all.